following is brought to you by Haney Farms, your canola, corn, and cereal seed experts. Find us at haneyfarms.com. So Trevor, harvest is finished. A lot of seed samples are coming in now. What does the quality look like?
Well, it looks like what we expected it to look like. There's a lot of disease, there's a lot of dormancy, there's frost damage, typical quality characteristics of seed harvested from a cool, wet growing season with some frost spattered in there. So in areas that got early frost, a lot of frost damage obviously in the seed. We're seeing some bran frost in other areas where the frost was a little bit later, but dormancy and disease are the big ones.
Okay, so did that frost have much of an effect on germination?
Yeah, in areas where it was early enough, it really did.
Okay.
So they'll see it immediately in the germination. In the later areas, what it'll typically have an effect on is the vigor of the seed. So it's really important this year for growers to watch the quality of the seed over time, because frost-bitten seed has a tendency to deteriorate over time.
So for this year, having said that, how between now and seeding, how often should we be getting our seed tested?
Well, I would say for the basics of seed testing, say the germ, the vigor, things like that, I would say a minimum of twice.
Okay.
So you want to check it in the fall and you want to check it again in the spring. And if you're in an area where you know you've had an early frost, you may want to add in a third check around Christmas time, because
germs can go down.
Germs can go down. Seed could be short supply this year. So you don't want to get yourself in a position where you're late in checking and have quality deteriorate over the storage season, and then you have to run and scramble and find good quality certified seed.
Okay, we're hearing lots about dormancy. Please explain what is dormancy?
Well, basically dormant seeds just, to explain dormant seeds, they just sit there. They don't imbibe water. They're called, on a report of analysis, they're called fresh seeds. So they're not dead. They just haven't gone through that maturation process to allow them to get going again and grow. So what we do in the lab to affect dormancy is we will pre-chill the sample. So we'll put it into cold conditions for a period of time, and we'll use what's called potassium nitrate, which is an approved chemical that's added to the test to help break that dormancy. And ultimately, all it takes is time.
Okay, so they after time, they will become live seeds?
Typically.
Okay.
Typically.
Like a lazy teenager that doesn't want to get to work.
Exactly, yeah.
Okay, so can it go the opposite way? Can we have, where we get a germ test back, it says 95, let's say. Can they go back to being fresh?
Not usually.
Okay.
We don't usually see a lot of that.
So if you have a high fresh rating now, you test maybe in a month, everything seems like it's going better, the numbers are up, it won't go backwards.
It generally doesn't, no. I mean, dormancy always occurs at its highest level on harvested samples.
And my understanding is we're seeing dormancy across the country this year?
Very much so.
So Trevor, what about fusarium levels this year? What are we seeing there?
Well, in areas that have fusarium, the levels are higher. So basically the year was so conducive to disease development. Lots of rain in that July flowering or anthesis period. So fusarium in particular is across the board, and it's not species specific either. We're seeing higher levels of fusarium.
Across, in terms of the prairies, across all three provinces?
Well, in areas that have already been affected, have already had fusarium introduced, where it's established itself, the year was conducive to an even greater presence of that disease. We're not seeing the spread, per se, of the disease, but in areas that do have it, we're seeing it in higher levels.
Infections are way up.
Exactly.
Okay. Kate, Trevor, thanks a lot, and we'll talk to you again soon.
You're welcome.